Let's talk about dreams, shall we? So, has anyone ever had a dream that kept coming up night after night that was kind of sort of similar? And it was like, what's happening here? Why do I keep having the same dream over and over and over again? Why? That's happened to me. Yes. Have you ever thought to yourself, okay, what's happening? What drink do I need to take? What pill do I need to take so I can stop having this dream? Yeah. Or how many of you just maybe thought, okay, well, if I can just find like a dream reader to just tell me what these dreams mean, then I'll be able to sort of know what to do with my life next. Yeah. I think we've all had that sort of thing where it's like, okay, well, I keep dreaming the same thing. Like, what's happening here? Right? So, why is it happening? So, when we dream, essentially, to be honest, when we dream, when our brain sort of goes to a different, what happens is when you go to sleep, your brain goes from one sort of wave state to another. So, usually in our everyday waking life, we are in something called beta phase. So our brain waves are in something called beta. When we're sleeping, deep sleep, it's in something called delta waves. So usually in delta waves, you're totally like unconscious. Like somebody could come and kick you, you can like hear, or someone could like play like drums and you'll still be asleep because you just out. You out. I'm sure we've all had experiences where it's like we're in bed, we're sleeping, all of a sudden we wake up the next morning and it's like, oh, maybe I slept the wrong way. Ah, my shoulder hurts. Ah, my knee hurts. Like, why is that? Like, why is that? Right? Because your brain is in this delta wave state. And like when it gets there, any and everything that happens, like you're totally unaware of it. And it doesn't even sort of relate to pain consciously. Like it can't like pick that up. So what's happening is that when you are sleeping, when you're in this state, as I mentioned, you're unconscious. You're in this unconscious state, and your brain is going to an unconscious level, right? You're going deep from the conscious all the way to the unconscious. So there are certain things that are happening when you're sleeping, when you're tapping into the unconscious brain. And the unconscious brain makes up the majority of our brain. We're only using from about 5 to 10% of our conscious brain on a day-to-day basis. All that other stuff, that 90%, 95%, that all that stuff is unconscious. So there's always stuff happening in the unconscious. And the unconscious records every single life experience ever in our lives. So when you have dreams, essentially that's the unconscious trying to tell you something, trying to give you messages. Sometimes even in this unconscious state that we're in, you can even tap into what we might think of as like psychic power, psychic abilities. And sometimes the dreams that you may have, you might realize the next day, a few weeks, a few months, a few years might come true. It's like, oh, I had that dream a few months ago and now it's happening. Or, oh, why does it feel like deja vu? Maybe because you dreamt it and you sort of foresaw the future. So, dreams, right? So let's talk about that. So, usually when it comes to dreams, when you come to have dreams that kind of recur over and over and over again, it's like, okay, what is the lesson here? What is this trying to teach me? So I know for me, I mean, I've had multiple dreams recur over and over and over again. I used to have a dream that I used to like be on like this college university campus and used to always be like super frustrated with like what I was learning. And I always felt like it just was never a good experience, right? That was a dream I used to have consistently for maybe about, a year or two. And I said, okay, Kadeem, what is this here to teach me? And initially I thought, oh, okay, well, maybe it's based off of my experience. The college that I went to, I might be actually wearing the shirt, actually t-shirt today. Is this Muhlenberg College t-shirt? I think so. The thing is my Muhlenberg College. It's not. It is not. It is a Bailey's Atlantic City t-shirt. So nope. Don't look at that. That's Baylor's Atlantic City. The times when I go to Atlantic City. So, but I thought maybe it was based off of my college experience. Like, okay, because my college experience, when I went to college, as I mentioned, Muhlenberg College, it was in many ways very bittersweet. I'm glad I got a chance to go, but it was very bittersweet. I thought maybe it was dreams about that. But after sort of really sitting down with myself and saying, okay, what's the lesson here? I realized, stripping away all the literal nature of it, me literally being in college, me literally being on a college campus, me literally trying to learn something and start not getting it, I stripped down all those things and said, okay, what in my life right now, am I going through a particular situation? Am I in a particular group, organization, lifestyle, whatever, in which maybe I'm learning something, but I'm not maybe necessarily feeling fulfilled? So I sort of went through that and I was like, oh, okay, I think I got that. So once I realized what it was, and once I made the change, that dream stopped. Totally. It totally went away. Actually, talking about college now, I used to have a recurring dream back in college, I think starting maybe junior year, in which I kept having the dreams where like I was in jail. And like back then I was like, oh my God, why is this happening? Am I going to go to jail? What's happening? That wasn't it. Looking back on it now, I knew back then that dream was specifically telling me you are in a space right now where you feel confined, where you feel limited, where you feel like you're literally trapped and you can't move or be your free self. And I knew that specifically was the case when it came to me pursuing my creative pursuits. I definitely feel like I was trapped in many ways. And I really couldn't do what I really wanted to do creatively while I was in college. Muhlenberg is a great school, by the way. I'm not saying that it's a bad school. Muhlenberg is great. It's wonderful. But I just feel like for me, certain things creatively, I just felt trapped. So I know that was that dream specifically for that reason. I used to have another dream a few years ago in which like my toilet, for some reason, was always stopped up. And like the toilet would always like spill like over. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, is my toilet about to be stopped up? Like, why is this happening? And for some reason, there was usually always people around, whenever the toilet would get stopped up and the water would spill over. And I'm like, okay, why is this happening? What is this about? And for me, I kind of read that as, okay, well, maybe there's a particular aspect or aspects of my life that are maybe, I don't know, maybe you're blocking certain things, or maybe need to be released, or that maybe certain negative, lower parts of myself that if I don't take handle on it, might spill over into other aspects of my life, So I believe that dream actually lasted for a few years, maybe 3 or 4 years, but I haven't had that dream now, maybe the past probably 3 or 4 years now. So it's like, okay, what's the lesson here? I know sometimes I've heard people say things like, oh, when I have a dream about me, if I have a dream about teeth falling out, that means that maybe somebody's going to die. Maybe, perhaps. But if you strip away all the literal stuff, okay, your teeth falling out, okay, is my teeth going to fall out? Am I going to lose my smile? Okay, maybe the old wives tell us maybe somebody's going to die. But maybe if you even strip that away and look at the higher truth, maybe the higher truth is, hey, maybe there's a particular part of my life that maybe needs to be laid to rest, that maybe needs to die in order for me to live and to smile brightly. Perhaps that's one thing. I know people sometimes talk about them having dreams where they may be being chased by somebody, by something, and okay, the question is like, what does that mean? I mean, that could be from like childhood trauma, you running away from maybe someone or something or a particular situation or trauma that maybe you're not facing. It could just be maybe something you're going through right now in your life as an adult that maybe you need to just stand up and like look it in the eyes and say, hey, I'm going to conquer this the best way I know how and stop running away from it, But it might not you be literally needing to run away from somebody because someone's trying to hurt you. That may not necessarily be the case. I remember I had a dream. This was a few years after moving to my apartment where like I kept having a dream that somebody was gonna come into my apartment and like steal my stuff. And I was like, uh-oh. Like I had that dream like every day in a row for like 3 days. Like the other dreams I might have them maybe like once a week, twice a week, or they might come like once a month, whatever. This dream happened 3 days in a row, and I was like, what is this? What is it trying to tell me? So I told the landlord, I said, hey landlord, I'm having a dream about somebody trying to maybe come into my apartment. Maybe we need to look at maybe getting an extra lock or getting a particular, that's what it was. There was a particular lock on my door that didn't necessarily work. And it didn't work for maybe a few months. But it just happened that I had this dream where it was like somebody kept breaking into my house, So I was like, okay, maybe we need to get this fixed. So we got that fixed, but come to find out, before we got that fixed, the person had to come and change the door, and the door was somehow connected to some sort of like outside pipe. Somehow, some way, I don't know how that was. No, I think they had to, in order for them to actually take off the door, they had to somehow remove a pipe, some sort of pipe outside. Come to find out, that particular pipe was like so clogged up, they said that if there was another rain or heavy storm, like the pipe would actually burst and like cause flooding into the house. And I was like, oh. So that was the dream. So yes, like me needing to maybe get a new key or a new lock, yes, that might have been important. But I mean, I think the really main thing was, okay, me having that dream to be like, okay, maybe we need to get this thing checked out. We got it checked out. Realized that the pipe was going to burst if there was a major storm or rain, So again, so it's like, okay, what's the lesson? What do I need to do? What needs to happen in order for me to learn the lesson, in order for me to move on? So that is the question for you today. If you are having a reoccurring dream in your life, or someone that you know is having a reoccurring dream in their life, try to strip away maybe the dream in the literal form and look at the overall lesson and maybe how it can relate to what's happening in your life or their life, and try to figure out ways that maybe you can take a step to change it, adjust it, fix it, so that the dream goes away. Because the unconscious is trying to give you a message. And if you don't listen to it, it can cause disaster. So, that's the lesson for today. Listen to your dreams. Because your unconscious, that is the way for your unconscious mind to speak and talk to you. And I feel like I want to say this. If you feel like there's a part of your life where you don't have any clarity in, before you go to bed, you can like ask your unconscious, hey unconscious, please come up while I'm sleeping and give me a message that I need. Give me the message for whatever it is I need to receive clarity, understanding in a certain part of my life where maybe I don't necessarily know like what's happening right now. So just as a technique to offer to maybe help you trying to figure out certain life details or things. All right, that's all for today. Hope you enjoy your amazing day or night whenever you're looking at this, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.